Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to your Steeler Nation Vidcast, powered by Total Sports Enterprises, part of the Big Play Vidcast network over on YouTube. I'm your host, G. Stryker, and the schedule is about ready to drop, but fortunately, I am joined today by one of Steeler Nation's longest tenured writers and my partner in crime for this past year's draft. That is Mr. Ben Michaelian. Ben, tell Steeler Nation how you're feeling today.
I am so excited. I mean, if draft was, our NFL Christmas, if you will,
Right.
this is almost like our New Year's, where now that we have our new players, our new toys, time to see how we can play with them here in the actual seasons. I am pumped.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome to hear, man. And that is the perfect way to say it. I love your take on Pittsburgh Steelers New Year, because now we're getting to see what this New Year's schedule will be. Perfectly said. Also, I want to make a big point. You are now the second person at Steeler Nation to be doing a vidcast and or podcast COVID positive. So fortunately, we are separated by this nice divider right here on this side of the screen to keep me from getting COVID during this podcast.
And I'm locked away in a bubble, so we're all good.
Perfect. Social distancing at its finest, Steeler Nation. But first of all, I want to thank our captain, Justin McGonigal, keeping up to date the Steeler on SteelerNation.com, the page which is actually telling us, releasing all the leaks. Let's go over a couple of these leaks as they're going. Obviously, we know home and away this year, we've got the division, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati. We also know that we have two teams with the stink of New England, of Tom Brady, and that is the New England Patriots and Tampa Bay at home this year. Also have Vegas at home, also have the Jets at home, and have New Orleans at home. So we have less home games this year than we do away games. We have 8 at home, 9 on the road. So I don't know, at least home-wise, do you think we might have a 50th anniversary game here with Las Vegas Raiders commemorating the Immaculate Reception, which I know occurs on a Friday this year? It would be December 23rd, but possibly that week. Do you think that could happen?
I think so. I mean, it makes sense if we look at it. So Christmas Day is that Sunday.
Right.
NFL's already carved out 3 games. They only said it's only going to be 3 games. So that leaves there. It's going to open up this Saturday, which I know that they have a couple of Christmas Eve games slated.
Right.
But in the COVID world, they proved that they can play games on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, on a Monday afternoon, on a Friday afternoon, whatever it is. So a Friday game is not out of the question, especially on a holiday weekend.
Perfect. And then on the road, obviously our divisional opponents, we got Buffalo on the road, Atlanta on the road, Carolina, the Colts, Miami, and the Eagles. So now we can start talking about possible schedule leaks, like I alluded to at SteelerNation.com, Justin McGonigal's great article. Right now, the leaks that we have heard thus far. Week 1, you've heard that one. What's week 1, Ben?
Week 1 in Cincy. And I think that one's that's a beyond a leak at this point. That one has been confirmed by both sides.
And what is this now? 8 or 9 straight years that the Steelers have opened on the road. I cannot believe this crap. New quarterback, new situation. Steelers, no respect. On the road against the division winner from last year. The team that we couldn't even compete against last year. So this will be a very interesting opening matchup against last year's Super Bowl playoff team for the AFC that represented the AFC.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. And the Bengals are one where they didn't really lose anyone; they more reloaded in a way. And Steelers are gonna have a new secondary against that receiving core. That's gonna be a tough one. But we said the same thing about Buffalo last year, so they still have to play the game.
Right. And week 2, I've heard that New England is a possibility coming to play in Pittsburgh week 2, as well as the Jets week 4.
So
go ahead.
I think the Pats were actually confirmed. So the Pats are confirmed as the home opener on the 18th.
Perfect. And that would then leave the Jets on the 4th. New Orleans week 10 at home. Cincinnati then coming back week 11 to Pittsburgh. Which is supposed to be a Sunday night game. and then week 12 at Indianapolis for a Monday night game.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Whenever I think of games in Indianapolis on Monday night, I just have flashbacks of the 2005 game where Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison just lit them up. So hope it's not a repeat of that. I don't think it will be. But yeah, we finally got one primetime game out there, which, the Steelers are good for 4 or 5 primetime games. So that knocks one out. Let's see what the other 3 or 4 are.
Yep. And then following, we just had a couple leaks here from Baltimore. Supposedly week 14, they should be playing us at home. Week 17, we will be playing them on the road. And I absolutely hate playing a division opponent twice in 4 weeks or 3 weeks. And it's been happening with regularity, and I cannot stand it. I prefer to see division opponents once in the first half of the season, once in the second half of the season, because the problem occurs if you have a certain situation where you have a key player with an injury, they get that matchup with that player with that injury that they can take advantage. It hurt us in the past. Last year we benefited with Lamar Jackson being injured on those matchups. So plus and a minus. And then the other one we heard was at Carolina week 15. So that is all we have thus far. What do you think about playing 2 divisional opponents at 4 weeks apart?
It's tough. But I think they did it last year, right? The last quarter of the season, they ran through a tough stretch, especially with the Ravens as well. So obviously, we know how Mike Tomlin sees it. He's not afraid of it. He loves AFC North football, but it's tough. As soon as you start getting the clumps of divisional games back to back to back, especially later in the season, when we know these games are going to mean more than if they were to play in September, October, it's tough. But if they win, that would be optimal, obviously.
And I know. And Steeler Nation, we are here. This is your show, your comments, your question. Miles Pressgraves, you know the drill, man. We up in here. Philip Rainwater, welcome to the show. Haven't heard your name before, but welcome, Facebook. Hey, guys. Hey, Philip. Good to hear from you. Let's go, Steelers. Thank you there, Mr. Wood. Good to hear from you, sir. Michael Hall, we are live. Nice Bettis jersey going out here that I don't think that's a Bettis. It looks like a 39 out of 36.
That's right.
That would be a Minkah.
The Super Bowl year, too.
So it's not a Minkah Fitzpatrick jersey.
It's a Willie Parker jersey.
Really fast Willie Parker.
That's an old Reebok.
Awesome. Oh, he said, sorry, I meant Minkah. Yep, no, we were both wrong. We were both because he hasn't played in a Super Bowl for us yet.
That's right.
We got to quantify that. Emil, how you doing? What up, bro? I see we got a tough schedule again. Love it. Go Steeler Nation. Yeah, schedule is going to be tough, but it's not the toughest like we had last year. This schedule is a lot easier for us. One thing I wanted to mention, too, as far as for the NFC South opponents, we've got the 2 tougher opponents, Tampa Bay and New Orleans, in my opinion, at home. We're playing Atlanta and Carolina on the road. So that gives us a little bit of an advantage with our NFC South matchups.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. Philip, we can get through it. Yes, we can. Chuck Duffield, how you doing, sir? Hey, hi, guys. Look, we have a tough schedule, but we can cover. We can come and play both sides of the ball. Yes, we can. And I'm excited for the defense this year. And I'm excited to see how this crazy offense is going to end up shaping up to. Hopefully, we get a lot more say with Matt Canada. Going to see more RPO, more play action, utilizing different players in different moments, kind of like the way Kansas City does to try to create mismatches with personnel. That's what I've been waiting for ever since we drafted or since we promoted Matt Canada. To see something other than the Ben Roethlisberger offense, which just ended up being a dink and dunk offense.
I just want to see snaps under center, quite honestly. That's it. I'm kind of sick of the shotgun every time.
Right. Miles, I've decided I'm moving to Pittsburgh, hopefully by the fall. Oh, that's awesome, Miles. Let me know, man, because I'd like to go. We can hang out at some tailgates. We can check out the Steelers, man. That would be great. Congratulations, because I think you're out west somewhere, aren't you, man? Weren't you in Cali? I think that's what we were talking about before. Michael Scott Joyner. How you doing, Michael? Opener at Bengals. Hope we can upset their home opener. Oh, me too. It's time we win another game in Queen City. Let's see if we can have another quarterback other than Ben Roethlisberger start owning these Ohio teams. Be absolutely great. Calvin Pittman, hey fellas, just joining. What week do we play? Tampa Bay. Thus far, Tampa Bay has not been released yet. You have anything coming across the screen? I know we're approaching 8 o'clock. I know once we start hitting 8 o'clock from past shows, the schedule tends to come out in its entirety pretty soon. So that's why we're here. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see if some of these prognostications were correct for that we've gotten for the leaks, because it's all going to get locked in here real soon. Jersey. Oh, you going to, oh yeah, you lived in Jersey. Now you're moving to a much better place. Much better place. Excellent, man. That's great. Mateo Durant. Somebody's got a running back love here in the house. Talk about Mateo Durant, Mr. Ben.
First of all, Jordan, you recognize this? So this is actually a picture that Jordan took. He's our team photographer.
Hi, Jordan!
See, I love Mateo Durant. He got the biggest contract of an undrafted rookie free agent running back ever in Steelers history. A lot of upside. I see him as like a Mewelde Moore. So I think he's going to be a preseason stud.
Nice. Oh, that's great. That is great. And I'm going to be opening this up too. Couple things that I want to think about. I always like it when we have the Battle of Pennsylvania game, getting to play Philadelphia, albeit on the other side of the state in Philly. This is usually a team that we play in the preseason. Because it's very easy to schedule a cross-state rival for these types of things. All I know, Steeler Nation, if you're going to that game in Philadelphia, be prepared to take some heat from the Philly faithful. I have a story personally going to a preseason game, getting pelted with peanuts in the upper level in a preseason game. Philly fans at their finest. The city of brotherly love, showing brotherly love the only way they know how, with a headlock and a noogie.
See, I think this is the kind of game every single year, instead of playing it either in Pittsburgh or Philly, just meet halfway, either, Hershey, State College.
Yeah.
Something like that on neutral turf, like a PA Bowl. I mean, that'd be amazing.
It would be. I was always hoping they do like a Penguins versus Flyers at State College. That would just be an amazing environment. Over 100,000 fans packed in there to watch hockey. That kind of stuff is amazing. Jordan also writing back to us. I'm going over to rookie minicamp tomorrow to catch some of these players. That is awesome. Is that open to the public, Jordan, or do you have press credentials from Steeler Nation? Because I wasn't sure if that was open to the public or not. But I'm super excited for rookie minicamp. It means we're going to start bringing guys in. Also going to be excited to hear on what second-year players may come, because second-year players sometimes come to rookie minicamp as well. Could we see Najee? Could we see Pat Freiermuth? I mean, these are some options that might be coming to rookie minicamp.
They're already there in Pittsburgh, so who knows?
You never know. Miles Austin has grown so much on me. He's the steak of the draft. I know you meant Steel. Yep, you did. You followed it up with Steel. That's great. The steak of the draft, Miles Austin. I'm just hoping he's not another Dree Archer or another Chris Rainey, but this guy seems to be a little bit tougher, a little bit better built, solid muscle, durable, and that's what you need in the NFL, because those smaller guys, just being elusive isn't enough to stay alive in the NFL.
And he's a route runner as well. Yeah. With Dree Archer and Rainey, they weren't.
Right? This will be a hell of a year, including against the Bungles. The Bungles. Can't wait to see them. We own Philadelphia, don't we? Hashtag GOT6 got 6. Hell yeah, Michael Hall. That's what I like to see. Jordan, again, back again. It's not open to the public, just going over to wait after it's over. Very smart. Our photographer knows how to get those candid pictures, and I can't wait to see your great work coming in from tomorrow. Guys, follow Jordan on his social media. Jordan, post your stuff here. I think, because I don't want to get the JKSO_photography stuff. I know it's around there, but I don't want to say it wrong. So pop it in there so everybody knows how to follow you tomorrow when you're taking your snaps. And Michael Hall's schedule has been released. Just got an NFL notification. So I will go over here to NFL.com to see the schedule and how it released. Boom. Okay, here we go. Going to the schedule page now. Do you want to do this week by week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it week by week. Let's have fun with this. Oh, schedule week 1. No games available. Damn it.
Oh, I got it for me.
Okay.
I have it on mine.
Okay, well, now going straight over to Pittsburgh Steelers directly. See if the schedule is on. Oh, here it is. Well, this is different. Oh, that's preseason. So preseason schedule is already out. Let's talk about preseason. Going to have 3 games in the preseason. Week 1, Saturday the 13th against the Seattle Seahawks at home. Week 2, which is going to be the biggest preseason game of the year. The most starters will now play week 2. That will be against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Week 3, rounding out the preseason against the Detroit Lions. So this is an interesting preseason. No Philadelphia Eagles. No Jets. We play the Jets a lot. We usually play Carolina a lot.
In the Panthers. They usually play the Panthers every year.
Exactly, because the ownership between the two organizations are very, very close. And that's a reason why there's a lot of Pittsburgh blood over in Carolina. So interesting preseason. Now moving on to the regular season. Do I have the regular season? It has the preseason weeks. Where's my regular season stuff? Dang it. Where'd you get the release? Is it over Steeler.com?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it right here. Sorry. It's down here, loaded at the bottom, but not in the format I'm used to seeing. So let me see if I can get this arranged. I definitely see the Bengals week 1, like we were talking about. Looks like week 2 against the Patriots. Like we agreed, that one was definitely on there. It looks like we will be playing week 2 against the Patriots at home. Week 3, we will be getting the Brownies in Cleveland. So normally we're used to seeing the Browns week 1. Now we're going to have to wait till week 3, Ben.
And that's their first Thursday night game as well.
Perfect. Oh, good call. Thank you very much for being able to read better than I can. Week 4, it looks like we will be playing against the Jets at home, just like we had. Week 5, we will be playing a different AFC East team. We will be traveling to Buffalo October 9th on Sunday to be playing the Bills, our neighbors to the north.
I'm glad that it won't be snowing for that game. I'm glad it's another early season game so we can avoid any of that stuff.
Right. And then we had the question earlier, when are we playing the Bucs? Well, it looks like we're playing the Bucs week 6. October 16th, 1 o'clock game at home against Tom Brady. I wish he was going to be in the booth for Fox as opposed to being on the field, but hopefully we got a chance to break his leg in that game.
Yeah, and we'll see. And now that they have a new head coach, and it's still pretty early in the season. I mean, I know 6 weeks isn't a long time necessarily, but in the NFL, that's pretty short in terms of the new coaching and how they adapt. So we'll see. And a new defense.
That is true. That is true. Week 7, we will be facing the other AFC East team, Miami Dolphins in sunny Miami, for a balmy October 23rd game in the prime time. Looks like a Sunday night game, Ben.
That's right. And the terrible tailgate's going to be there with Steeler Nation. So grab your tickets now.
Woo! There we go. Great callback over to Steeler Nation and the terrible tailgate. Also have it at every home game as well in Pittsburgh. Always have a great time at the terrible tailgate. But that is the away game for this year. And man, does Steeler Nation have awesome weather to look forward to in Miami for that great game. Wow, I'm glad the way that one fell out. Then week 8, looks like we are going to be going cross-state for that intrastate rival against the Philadelphia Eagles, like we just talked about, for the Halloween game.
That's going to be your birthday game, Stryker.
Yes, it is! I can't wait! And is it your birthday right around there too, Ben?
No, mine's in April.
Never mind. Yeah. And then it looks like the bye week is going to fall right dead smack in the middle of our schedule, which I am fine with. We play 8 games. We got our bye week, week 9. Then we're going to be going on the big stretch for the rest of our 9 opponents starting week 10, Sunday, the 13th of November against the New Orleans Saints.
I like that game coming out of a bye. It's a nice coast right back in, assuming the Saints are going to do what we think they're going to do.
Yeah, and I don't know, man, because Jameis Winston was the quarterback that I wanted in the preseason this year to be our veteran quarterback to sign. We obviously signed your guy, Mitchell Trubisky, which I am not upset about. But if he was in there and if he's playing against us, I think that will be a much tougher game. He showed last year it looked like things were starting to click. He was 5-2. They were the head of that division. They were the talk of the NFC South before he had his season-ending knee injury, being knocked out, and then New Orleans started their downward spiral from last season.
Yep. Sean Payton isn't with them anymore. So it's going to be another one of those where it's a new head coach, it's a new defense. So just got to see how it shakes out.
Nice. Week 11, we finally face the division rival Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday night. Another primetime game at home against the Bengals. How do you feel about seeing the division rival, obviously, in week 1 and then week 11, Ben?
A lot can happen in, 10 weeks time,
Yep.
Especially with a bye week. I don't know when the Bengals have their bye week, but I'm assuming it's also before that.
Yeah.
I guess prime time whenever AFC North comes into Heinz Field and it's year 2, you're on the second half of the season. So this game's going to have some oomph behind it, even more so than it already does.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, I don't know. Ask me after the September game and I'll let you know.
Now it looks like we've gotten up to week 12, which is Thanksgiving week. We do not have a Thanksgiving Day game, but we do have the Monday night matchup against the Indianapolis Colts and their new quarterback, Ben. Talk about that.
Well, Matt Ryan, he came over from the Falcons. We'll see. This is, and I'm blank. Frank Wright. This is his 3rd or 4th starter there with the Colts in terms of quarterback.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's not really going to be much of a concern. I'm more concerned about the running back. And I don't know why I'm blanking on his name right now out of Wisconsin.
Me too. Yeah, not Johnson.
And I don't know why I'm blanking on it, but I shouldn't be. But if the Steelers want to put them away, they got to shut down that running game. They also have one of the best offensive lines in football as well.
Yeah. Then we go on the short rest 6 days later and play Matt Ryan's old team in Atlanta with the travel day there. That's going to be a tough matchup on a short week having to travel. But fortunately, we're not traveling to the West Coast this year.
I love it. I love it. They have, I think, it's the least amount of miles here for the Steelers this season, which I absolutely love. They don't leave the Eastern time zone. Steelers don't do too well on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I have now, obviously, playoffs are a different story, but I am not upset about that.
Yeah, and it looks like all of these leaks were 100% right. We have week 14, Sunday at 1 o'clock against the Baltimore Ravens at home. Always a tough matchup. Also locked in on week 17, which is the New Year game at Baltimore this year. So what a way to celebrate ringing in the New Year's than ringing the bells of the old rats in Baltimore on New Year's Day.
Yeah, you can't be hungover for that one, Stryker. You got to be there in full force.
I will be full-throated, full force. I can't wait for that matchup. I always love the Charm City matchups. Week 15 was also correct. Just backtracking a couple weeks against the Carolina Panthers, which the teams know so well. That is looking at this. Well, I thought it was 3 away games in a row. It's not. It was Indianapolis and Atlanta on the road, then at home against the Ravens, back on the road against Carolina Panthers. But that matchup that we just alluded to, the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception falling on the 23rd of December this year, which is a Friday. There are no NFL games on Friday this year, but the following day, the Steelers get their rival 50 years later back in the same town, not the same stadium, but back in the same town for the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. What a fun way to celebrate the 50th anniversary than to be able to play the team that changed our future. It was our first playoff game in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Now we get to see them at home again for the repeat 50 years later.
And it's going to be a playoff atmosphere, I think, with that opponent at that point in the season, right before Christmas, right before they play the Ravens again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And then that's what we said. We have the Ravens again on New Year's Day. And then we finally close out the season against the only team we seem to ever close out the season against. Who's going to be resting? Who's going to be our starting quarterback this year against the Cleveland Browns? Holy Hades. We always play the Cleveland Browns at home at the end of the year and at the beginning of the year. The longest stretch between division opponents, week 2 to week 18, the Brownies. How does that hit you?
I mean, it's a great prime up game, I would say here.
Yeah.
That's really it. I hope we're at the point in the Steelers' sake where that game doesn't mean a lot. Steelers already have something already locked in the bag. Always hate to play that with a meaningful something on the line because then the Browns are looking to play spoiler. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a fun little teaser heading there into the postseason.
And the one thing that I want to talk about that matchup now is them acquiring the quarterback. Watson.
Oh, Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Watson. Elementary, my dear Watson. We got Watson now, our neighbor to the northwest. And this is going to be a much different team because Baker Mayfield now is no longer there. So now we have to figure out whether the stink of not making the playoffs falls on the cooking of Baker, or if it's the town itself, the mistake on the lake. Watson's got a lot to answer to. We'll see if he's even playing this season, Ben.
Yeah, I think he will. They don't have another quarterback. I mean, outside of I think it was Jacoby Brissett, Brisket, who's now their backup.
Brisket.
So yeah, and that's another thing too. I mean, seeing as though it's so late in the season, and the fact that Watson hasn't played a full NFL season in now over a year.
Yeah.
See how long he can hold up, if he can last 17 weeks. We'll see.
And now we're at the fun part of the show. Steeler Nation, we've gone through the schedule. Start spouting off. Let us know what games you're going to be going to. Let us know what games you're looking forward to, what weeks, what matchups. At least, I can't be upset with the way the schedule has fallen. Getting the bye week and the halfway point as opposed to the first 4 weeks. That crap has to end. Like, me personally, I think bye weeks should always fall 9, 10, 11, 12, and you just rotate them every year by division. That is the fairest way to do it. I don't understand how they do bye weeks, or they figure out, other than to give Brady as late as possible of a bye week, just so he's fresh for the playoffs. That's the one.
Yeah, he's like a good week 14.
Exactly. Holy crap. I haven't seen where their bye falls. If you want to start looking that up while we're talking and checking out some stuff, I am interested to see how that one falls, because they always tend to give Brady a late bye week every year. Interesting, Mr. Kraft. So, going back over to Steeler Nation, time for you to sound off. Miles, what are your thoughts on the newish safety signing, KZ? I, of course, have been talking about this. You guys all know that Honey Badger was my number one, but I did acquiesce and state if we can get a guy like Honey Badger or KZ, I would be a very happy man. I always mention KZ second to Honey Badger. Obviously wanted Honey Badger first, but very happy to get the talents and the playmaking ability of KZ at a reduced price, Ben.
Right, and we were wondering during the draft, when are they going to draft a safety? I mean, we saw Kyle Hamilton go to the Rays, and we're like, no, we wanted that. And then we saw more safeties go. We're like, all right, Steelers got to do something. Now we know why they didn't do anything, which I love it. I think, he's going to be a great rotational guy. They're swapping. I think it's going to be more of a timeshare. Obviously, we'll see how Camp does. I think it's going to be more of a timeshare between him and Edmonds. There's a strong safety position. So, and he's he's good enough to be a starter on any other team, essentially.
Yeah.
So even if he plays more as like a dime backer, which he doesn't really play that, but
Yeah.
I love it as a great rotational player. He's already starter quality. So love it. Absolutely love it. I agree.
Yeah, at least for me, I'm glad with the healthy competition between him and Edmonds for this season. Is it going to go to the guy that started the last 4 years on our team, or is it going to go to the guy that's been starting for multiple teams in this league that can make more plays? You know, open competition is always good. I've heard possibly maybe playing some slot as well, which he has done in the past. But personally, my dream would be to see him starting at strong safety. That's the guy I want. I want somebody with a little bit more playmaking ability next to Minka so they can free range, have a blast, and make big plays for the Steelers. Couldn't be a better pickup, in my opinion, aside from not getting Honey Badger. But the price point by acquiring both KZ and re-signing Edmonds, we paid 1/3 of the amount of money than we would have for Honey Badger. Honey Badger ended up locking in about 11 mil a year, not 16 like he wanted. Like I was talking about, guys, you don't get paid after the draft. If you're holding out, you do not get paid after the draft. He got 11 mil a year. Still very affordable, but with I think both of our guys combined, we're right around like 3.5, 4 mil tops with those two guys. So excellent, excellent money marketing and money management by Kevin Colbert on his way out. Oh, I'm gonna miss you.
I love it. Love it.
Next question. Law, schedule protector video was the best quality content I've ever seen. Not sure what that means. If you could share a link. Ben, do you know about that?
Schedule protector video. I don't. Maybe it might be something that was on NFL Network or ESPN2 with the release. Maybe that's all I can guess.
I don't know. Let us know. Let us know, Derpy. Michael Hall, 3-0 in preseason. If we lose against the Lions, you can ban me for life. Come on. I'm not going to ban anyone for life.
How about a tie? How about a tie?
Exactly. I was going to follow it up with like, yeah, expect us to tie the last week of preseason there going into it. But here's one thing about preseason games too, Steeler Nation. Something I just want to touch on quickly. Generally, you win a lot of preseason games with depth. Steelers had a lot of depth at quarterback last year. Haskins, Rudolph, Ben, Dobbs. This year, ton of depth. We got 2 rookies that we drafted. We've got Trubisky. We got Rudolph. Having a lot of depth down the line probably is going to translate to more plays later in preseason games and us racking up points. So looking forward to that. Probably going to have a winning preseason record. You can bank on that. Take that money over there to Vegas.
And offensive line depth as well, which we've been talking about a lot.
Good point. Which we have a lot in spades on the interior this year. We'll have to see how the tackles are going to shake up here coming into training camp, or if we're going to pick up another vet. Next question coming from Michael Hall. Well, like the LA Chargers in the past, we will invade every road game we go. It's kind of like a big thing we do. Hashtag black and gold. Hashtag here to invade your houses. Love it, Michael Hall. And it's not like we're invading. Sure, we'll travel. We got our Steeler Nation game down in Miami this year, so a lot of people are going to be traveling to that. But a lot of Steeler Nation already lives in Florida. They got a short trip over to the stadium.
And there's a lot in Carolina. Here, I can tell you there's a lot in Charlotte. Charlotte's basically Pittsburgh South.
Oh, that's awesome. Hell, isn't that where freaking Cower went to retire, didn't it? Doesn't he have a house in Carolina?
I think he's in Raleigh, but yeah.
Yep, somewhere in the area. Miles back again. Money Mitch's son has just been born. Hudson, yes, welcome to the family. Have you reached out to the mother? I know you know her personally, Ben.
Oh no, that's Parker.
Oh, that's
Parker. I'd like to think so. I mean, I just liked his Instagram post and said congratulations on there. Hopefully he saw it.
Right. Oh, that is big news. New family member, new baby boy in the family. Congratulations, because You've just given birth to a Yinzer there, Mitch.
Say it's a new member of Steeler Nation.
That it is. The newest, youngest member of Steeler Nation. Welcome to Steeler Nation, Hudson. Miles, a few days ago, it was a couple days ago, yep. Miles Pressgrave, he will be a future Steeler, right? Taylor. Is that the kid's name, Kayla?
Yeah.
Kayla's usually the one that corrects us, and he's usually always correct. So I always
fact
love
checker behind the scenes.
She is the Steeler Nation Vidcast fact checker. Cheers, Kayla, to you. Michael Hall, Baltimore still owes us a Thanksgiving game, especially what happened with their club last year. Well, that's what they owed us. I think that's why they let us win both games against us last year.
Yeah, I don't think allowing us. It was more of just a self-imposing will by the Steelers.
Right.
And that's what got him into the playoffs. So, hey.
Yeah, right. Robert Tamburo, how you doing, my friend? Hey, all. What's up, Stryker and Ben? Which veteran players have been showing up at the off-season workouts? Do we know which ones have been staying or which ones have just been making one day and done? I personally have not been following up on that, Robert. I know that we do have players that do live in Pittsburgh. We also have players that are training in their home states, Texas, Florida, California, this time of year as well. Have you heard of anybody that's hanging around Pittsburgh other than rookie minicamp, which is starting tomorrow?
Right. Yeah, I would say outside of rookies. I mean, I saw Mitch is out there. I saw Watt was out there. Highsmith was out there. A lot of the offensive linemen, especially the newer guys, Mason Cole, and blanking on the guard's name. Oh, geez.
Jenkins.
Yeah, that's my COVID brain.
Yeah, it's all right.
Those are really it. I saw
or Daniels. Sorry, James Daniels. I said Jenkins.
Yeah.
James Daniels.
Deontay is not there. I didn't see Chase Claypool there. Miles Jack is there. I know that.
Yep. Oh, nice.
And of course, I think Cam Hayward has been in the building, and we've already heard that. I'm sure that Tua has been in and out in some capacity as well.
Right. And Miles asking, when are the Steelers playing the Jets? The Steelers are playing the Jets week 4 at home. So look forward to that game. Are you planning on going to that one, Miles? Let us know. Robert, back again. When we had the Immaculate Reception, the standard was still the standard. But now we have the Immaculate Deception when Coach he lies that the standard is still the standard. Love those points of view over there, Robert. Having fun with
Bob.
it. Yeah, coming hard in the preseason on Steelers New Year. Unlike the New Year's game that we're going to have against the Cleveland Browns. But I always love hearing from you, Rob, and your counterpoints. Rad Rob, we happily pretend that the Immaculate Reception is not a real thing. I love it, guys. Miles, my question is Riddick out of the GM possibilities? I have not heard yet if Riddick is in the second round of the GM interviews yet. What have you heard, Ben?
He's been spending a lot of time in Pittsburgh, whether if that's coincidental. I mean, he was at the Pitt at the Pitt commencement here right after the draft.
Yeah.
So he's been spending a lot of time in Pittsburgh. It may just be a coincidence.
Well, he is Pitt alum, but who knows?
Yeah, that's why it could be something there. I would love it if your great good buddy Lewis would be a part of the front office there, Stryker. That would be amazing.
Oh, I know. It would be fantastic.
So I guess if it is a question, I don't have a yes or a no. It's more of I hope not. Or I hope he is. I hope he's not out of it. I hope he's in it.
Right. And I know they keep releasing every day a new interviews. Thus far, Steeler Nation, these are the players or the personnel that the Steelers have had in for second interviews. Omar Khan, who is our capologist. Brandon Hunt, who is our head of player scouting within the organization. So those are the two home guys. Andy Waddell from the Eagles is a guy who has a Pittsburgh background. I think he started his career in player personnel over here on our side of the state. Doug Whaley, former Bills GM, also worked with the Steelers a little bit. Ryan Cowden with the Titans. And John Spytek with the Bucks was just the most recent person called. Though I don't know how a guy with a last name Spytek doesn't want to play or perform with anyone but Tom Brady in Tampa Bay.
or Bill Belichick in New England. Who knows?
I got this new technology for you, Bill. Spytech. John Spytech.
That does sound eerily weird. He does sound like a tech company.
He does. He does, sadly. Next question here. Michael Scott Joyner. Do you see the Steelers going after the cornerback dropped by the Giants? I'll leave this one to you, Ben.
I don't think so. I think seeing as though, again, I would say that the cornerback position was one of the safety positions, Stryker, where we were talking the whole time about the draft of when are the Steelers going to draft a cornerback. Seeing as though they didn't, they brought a couple on, as undrafted free agent rookies here in camp to try them out. But I think that as of where we are right now, I think that they are set with their secondary as of where we are.
Cool. I agree with you. Yeah, I think right now, I think his I'm surprised he hasn't been snatched up already. It's kind of like what happened when Hayden first hit the market. Like, it was that night he was driving to Pittsburgh and signed the freaking contract before the ink on his kicked out of the city papers even dried in Cleveland. That was like the best scenario. A guy that really was an instant walk-on starter the day after he signed that paper. I'm surprised this guy isn't already on a roster.
It might be because of his price tag. I know that's why the Giants dropped him here to begin with. So it's all about the money.
And Robert Tamboro, winning all your preseason games often seems to precede a poor season. I'd rather us really give an underdog a chance. Easy, even if it means L's. That's not an L, actually a W. You found a player. Yeah, I mean, for us, really, it's like points don't matter with the whole preseason stuff. You can really, I mean, I remember times where, like, I think it was the year that the Lions went winless. I think they went undefeated in preseason that season. I think
the Browns, I think, did the same thing.
Right.
As well.
Right. Which is crazy. So, so it can happen to me. It just speaks more to the depth of your team if you're winning preseason games, except for Baltimore. Baltimore always goes out to try to win all their preseason games. I think they've got an insane streak of 5 years of 5 straight preseason wins. So hang that on your hat over there in Baltimore, and Mr. Harbaugh, having fun over there in Baltimore, winning his preseason games. Yay. Good job. Brian Brown, Stryker. Looks like 17-0 to me. Yeah, Brian, on our way to 20-0. The only record any Steeler fan will ever accept preseason and be happy with. That's the only way we could ever be happy, is if we go 20-0. We'll have to break that 12-0 record that we had with Ben. Yep, first football game. Awesome. That's great to hear, Miles. That's awesome. And let me know, too, because if you're going to be there week 4, like I said, we'll DM each other. We'll meet up. Yeah, got to meet you in real life, too, man. You've always been a fun part of the show, and I can't wait to hang out with you. Are you old enough to have a beer yet? You let me know. I can't get in trouble. Trying to feed you beers. Robert, it's important for the veterans to be there with the new players and young players, even if they have better workout possibilities in their home states. The veteran presence is needed from team bond. Yeah, I completely agree. Great points there, Rob. And but also, we do know that at least for rookie minicamp, probably not going to see as many vets, because the team wants to see these younger players, see what they have on film, see what they have in the room, and get to know actually how these guys perform in a practice setting, get to know their personalities and their work ethic. It's really important, especially when you're trying to see how well these guys that you evaluated do when you actually get them in the building.
Right. And again, it's a new secondary outside of the 2 safety positions. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the quarters kind of play off each other. I know opposite ends of the field, but inside versus outside, how they play the zone scheme, all that fun stuff.
Nice. Miles Pressgraves. Also, I don't think DJ is coming back. I think his price raised up, and with the wide receiver depth, Steelers won't bite. I'm on the opposite of that personally, Miles. I think he's your franchise wide receiver. I pay him $16 million a year. That's what he's been asking for, and I think that's a steal. I'd lock him into a 5-year contract at that amount today. Don't know if you disagree. Don't know if you like different wide receivers on the roster, Ben, but right now he's the only wide receiver currently on our roster that I can hang 100 receptions on.
I absolutely agree. It's going to come down to he's only played with one quarterback. I mean, outside Mason Rudolph,
Yeah,
but he's
well,
already played with
and
one
Duck. He
quarterback.
played with Duck and Rudolph that year. He had both of them.
That's right.
That was his rookie year.
That's right. He made Duck. He helped Duck out a lot.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
but for the most part, all of last year where he had his best season, he played with one quarterback.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to now two new. He's going to be catching balls from two new guys, basically.
Right.
Is the way I see it in camp. So yeah, it's going to be one of those two where, okay, so where do you draw the line in terms of the price tag? If if he performs the same as he did last year, does that validate that 16 mil, or does it show of a plateau where we want to kind of lowball that because he may have already hit a ceiling? Who knows?
Yeah, and that's really interesting that you're alluding to those two quarterbacks that are going to be throwing him a ton of balls with Chris Olodikin and Mason Rudolph. So yeah, we'll have to see how they go.
Wrong. Oh,
Oh, you meant the other two guys. You meant Trubisky
First team reps.
And Pickett. Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that'll be interesting to see. It will be. It will be. Michael Hall, who are the candidates for GM and who do you and Ben would love to see GM in Pittsburgh? Obviously, my heart goes out to Riddick. I would love to have Riddick on board just because we've interviewed him. He's a great guy, one of the smartest football minds I've ever had on my show. And I think that he would fit in really well. He's a Pitt graduate or alum for University of Pittsburgh. He's got the Pittsburgh roots, and he stated when he is on the show that Pittsburgh is one of the three organizations that he'd come calling. If they came calling, he would answer, and he did answer the call. The Giants and the Raiders being the other two, oddly enough.
Yeah, I love your buddy Lewis. If it isn't him, then I like the two in-house guys. I love Omar Khan and what he can do, inside the cap space. Love Brandon Hunt as well. He's really grown there. He's been able to follow Kevin Colbert the whole way. So I would say any of those three guys would be great.
Nice. And Miles, here we go, talking about my second favorite sport to play. I was never a hockey fan, but the Penguins have me so hyped. Hopefully we can get Sidney Crosby back for Game 6 because, my gosh, was that a different game when he went down. They were in complete control of that game, and it seems like the matchups just slanted completely in the Rangers' favor when we lost the best player in the NHL for the second half of that game.
It was a dirty hit. But they got to close it out tomorrow, and they need that extra weekend of bye, really, here for Crosby, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. From watching that hit, do you think it was a head injury? Do you think it was an arm injury?
I think it was a head injury. It looked like he caught the elbow, like right in the side of the face.
Yeah.
And of course, there's no helmet there or anything.
Right.
Because as soon as he got up, he kind of shook and then just skated off.
Right.
So I think he got his bell rung.
And unfortunately, for a guy that has a history of concussions, obviously they found out the big part of it was his neck, and they had the surgery on his neck to help alleviate a lot of that pressure. But he's had a long career since that, and I remember back when that occurred. But he understands what a concussion feels like, and I know at least he should not be forcing himself back. But I hope he is healthy enough to play and has enough time off to be able to come back and play Friday. So, because fortunately we got that extra game off, so it was 2 games in between, switching between cities. That extra 48 hours hopefully will be enough to get him back on his skates in the arena to help close it out for the Penguins. Next question here, comment by Robert. P.S. I do not criticize Coach T when the Steelers are losing, but only when they're on winning streaks or in the offseason when people seem to choose to forgive the truth. And that's a fair point. That is a fair point, sir. Miles, I think Bryce Watts is our undrafted free agent cornerback pickup. He was a lockdown corner in college. Excited to see him play. Can you speak to Steeler Nation on Bryce Watts there, Ben?
I think he's the one from UConn.
Let me see.
I know Justin was doing a lot of legwork on those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be because
he was from UMass. Close.
UMass. There we go.
In the same area. Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. He was a lockdown guy. He's going to be playing behind. I mean, I think that they have pegged Akello Witherspoon as a starter and Levi Wallace as well. So, but I mean, he's going to be competing against like Justin Lane there who is going to be in a tough competition, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what the UMass competition, how that translates.
Yep. 20 is the new 21, Stryker. I think we're alluding to the amount of wins we can get in the season. I am down with that, Miles. Here's another one. Great point, Michael Hall. I see TJ breaking the Steelers' all-time sack record this year. And maybe Hayward. Got some options there. I'm going to bring up the Steelers' all-time sack leaders, which I always have right here, which pops immediately up for me because I look it up like all the freaking time. Now if we're going regular, dang it brought up the wrong freaking thing that I was used to normally seeing. But James Harrison, I know, is the current all-time sack leader officially at 80.7. And then we get Watt is officially at 72, 7.5 sacks away from the all-time Steelers record in his 6th season, Ben.
He has a very good chance of that happening. And then that's a sack like every other game, almost less than every other game. And so if that doesn't happen, that's probably because something else is going on. Right. Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't be breaking that.
And he was pushing close to 2 sacks a game last year. He's like 1.7, I think, in the games that he played. But then we have immediately behind him Cam Hayward at 68 sacks. Still has a chance. It looks like he's about 12.5 away. That's not out of the realm of possibility for Hayward to pass Mr. Harrison as well.
Just a matter of how much help he gets there on the line. I mean, he was kind of by himself all of last year here, but now with a healthier line, they drafted a new guy here. So if he gets, the one-on-ones, all of that kind of stuff there in the inside, he's another one who has a good shot.
And here we're looking at, I'm just looking at the amount of games these guys took to get to where they got. James Harrison, 80.5 sacks in 177 games. Cam Hayward, next most amount of games in this top 5, 166 games at 68 sacks. Jason Gilden, 158 games to be our previous sack leader at 77. TJ Watt, 72 sacks in 77 career games. He has the ability to take his career total to 1 sack a game this season, as this is the way it looks like his stats have been pushing here lately. That is insane. The guy is just a freaking freak. Absolute freak.
Animal.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm looking forward to it, Hall, and I got to get myself a Watt jersey because that's the next jersey I really, really must have. Now that Honey Badger didn't make the team, I'm not getting Honey Badger. Michael Scott Joyner. Crosby concussion is the word out there. Yeah, unfortunately. Prayers to Crosby. Yeah, with you guys. I woke up in midnight terrors replaying the safety blues in the draft. Oddly enough, it only happens on Monday. And the crazy stuff, too, with as much as we loved the Ravens draft, it seems like the Ravens kind of lamented the fact that New Orleans jumped up and took Davis before they were ready to draft. It seemed like Davis was going to be their guy. When the comp picks came out in the 4th round and we took Austin, we took not only the receiver that they were targeting, but we put them so much on tilt, Ben, they didn't pick up a receiver in the whole draft, and they traded away Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, and now that they don't have anyone.
I know. Arguably the deepest wide receiver draft in history. And the Ravens, the team that can't draft a wide receiver, didn't draft a wide receiver. Now they have to fix it in free agency.
All they have is Rashad Bateman as of right now as their receiver. Obviously, they have that stud tight end. But yeah, Rashad Bateman, who's a second-year guy, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but you can't sustain an offense with one good wide receiver.
Perhaps they should have waited until after the draft before getting rid of Miles Boykin.
Perhaps.
We're happy to have him. He's in the mix. He might make the team. We will have to see. Last chances here, Steeler Nation. I'm going to start going down through my run through. You guys know the drill. You guys have been here. So obviously we always end the show on the Steeler Nation quotes, but let me start as soon as I figure out the right window here to open to start going through my stuff. Be sure to tune in Tomorrow, I know we're going to have the podcast releasing over at DK Pittsburgh Sports. So check out the great Pittsburgh sports content over at dkpittsburghsports.com, at DKPS Podcasts Twitter. That is all the great podcasts that they provide. I being one of them, Steeler Nation podcast over at DK Pittsburgh Sports. Read our great Pittsburgh Steeler focused articles at SteelerNation.com, especially ones that are written by the great Ben Michaelian right here, people. Follow us, Steeler Nation, tweet us at Steeler Nation, Instagram us at SteelerNation.com, follow the Steeler Nation podcast on Twitter at _SN podcast, or follow me on Twitter, on Instagram at SN Stryker, or follow Ben Michaelian at the Ben Sauce _. Is that correct?
That's right.
Twitter. That's my boy at the Ben Sauce _. Of course, I've been linking him to all the stuff here today. So be sure to give him a follow as well. As you guys know, as you guys have been following the draft as well, you know how fun he is. And pleasure to have you on the show as well, Ben.
Pleasure is all mine, Stryker.
Last calls, obviously going to Steeler Nation. Brian Brown, the Ravens stink. Lamar Jackson and that tight end is all the Buzzards got. Righto. Great show as always. Thank you, Michael Scott Joyner. Brian Brown, have a good night. Go Steelers. Miles Pressgraves, I just followed Ben today. I got you, G.
Thank you, Miles.
Thank you. Yeah, Miles is always a great follow. Michael Hall, see you, Stryker. I'll see you guys as well. You guys are the heart and soul of the show. Love talking to you every week. Probably going a little earlier in the week next year. I'm not sure how my schedule is going to work out, but always somewhere between a Tuesday and a Thursday, we generally try to put out the vidcast, and I will tweet it before we put it out. But thank you once again, Steeler Nation, for joining us for another great Steeler Nation vidcast, sponsored by Total Sports Enterprises, part of the Big Play Vidcast Network. I'm your host, G. Stryker, with Ben Michaelian, rooting along with you as always. Go Steelers!